Welcome, weary traveler. You have stumbled across a comedy chronicled of cranial confections, a frenzied fable of bewitching fiends, and enticing expose of eccentric evils. Should you brave ahead, you will find yourself lost, afraid, and cursed with everlasting knowledge of the terrible occult. Will you survive this journey? That I cannot say. But I can say it will be the lore of horror.
I wish they would spend it on like fine art so that I could go throw soup at it. Ethan, do you know about this thing?
Yes.
I've really just been gearing up to talk to you about this thing
About the
pretty much
soup?
the last 2 days. It's so good, Ethan. And it's not good because there are some girls who threw soup at a painting. Although that is good by itself.
Where
Like,
was
just
this? Like, which museum did this happen in?
wherever a Van Goghs are kept. So I don't know.
A real Van Gogh or like?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a Van
it was
Gogh.
No, it was a Van Gogh, Fran. It was a real Van Gogh.
Okay, where are those kept? Europe?
In museums in Europe, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it was like a British group, I
Okay,
think.
there we
Yeah, I
go.
think
British
so.
Museum.
It was the British, the 2 girls that did it were British.
Yeah, that
British.
part matters less than the just like
Maybe it matters more. Maybe you
maybe
need to
matters the
understand
most.
the
Maybe
you
they're
need to understand
protesting
the
mummy
deep
jerky
cultural
and stuff.
Oh my god, do you think so? There's got to be some people who are
I
like,
believe they were protesting climate change, weren't they?
yeah, but it was
Spurred
really
by
confusing.
imperialism, obviously.
It was
Spurred
really-
by Van Gogh himself.
Yeah, Van Gogh. It was really confusing for me though, because the group that they're associated with is called Stop Oil. And then the headline I read said these people from Stop Oil threw soup at a Van Gogh, and I'm like, is there a group that's against like oil paintings? I had no idea. And then I had to read it, and they're like, they threw soup at a Van Gogh that was priced at, $50 billion or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I mean, they just destroyed some art to make
Except
a
for they
statement about
didn't.
the climate. And then it's like, it was covered in glass, so there was actually no damage at all. And I'm like, what are we even talking about here? 2 people destroy nothing, glue themselves to wall, which is also my favorite part of it, because they just glued themselves to
Did
the
they use
wall.
like super glue on their hand? That sounds
We were
awful.
trying to figure that out, because
That's
that's the
gonna
only
hurt.
thing that would that's the only thing that could really work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
if
like
you
your
put
flesh
super
will
glue on-
peel off.
Well, that's the thing. If you put super glue on your hand, it like dries like right away.
Yeah.
Because it
Like,
fun fact, super
it,
glue
like, melts
dries when it gains moisture. So
Ugh.
the moisture in your hand dries it really fast. But then
They should have
I
glued their
said-
hands to the Van Gogh.
or use
And then threw
acid
soup at it.
instead of soup, but
I mean,
I love
or
that the soup
blow
was
up
a part of their
pipeline
res-
and not the
That's true,
fucking
too.
Van Gogh.
yeah, apparently some people's take is, oh, you care about the environment, then why are you wasting food? You could have fed people with that.
It's a can of soup.
It's one can of soup. Wow, you care about the environment? I can't believe you're wasting gluing yourself to a wall. We could have glued lots of flyers about how to stop climate change instead. I said that the only truly effective method for gluing yourself to a wall is to glue your dick and balls to the wall, and then be
Balls
like,
to the wall.
oh, you want to, thank you, friend. And then if they want to remove you from the premises, that you'd be like, oh, remove my dick and balls from wall if gay, dude. And they'll be like, whoa, well, I'm not gay, so.
Well, if you say no homo before you do it, it's okay.
That's a good point, Fran. That's why we invented that for scenarios exactly like that.
For this exact
Yeah.
scenario.
Thank you, Van Gogh, for inventing the phrase no homo when it comes to touching dick and balls.
Protecting
And that's what they
us-
were protesting.
He was protecting us from the environmentalists all along.
Anyways,
Oh my God.
welcome to The Lore You Know, a podcast where some friends dive into the fantastical and often convoluted lore of media, not Van Gogh paintings typically, that we grew up with and love. And here to bring you the mostly correct facts about made up things this week are me, Fran.
Me, Ethan?
And I'm CJ. I'm going to go protest this protest by throwing a Van Gogh into a soup factory.
I want to hear how you tie this into our current topic. Give me
That's
a
why we're protesting
transition.
imperialism, remember?
There is imperialism in the series so far.
Yeah,
there
the whole West
is-
African flowers and things like that. And
There's not any soup that I'm aware of or
There's
glue.
herbs.
It's actually kind of
probably fuck with
absurd
soup.
that in all of Resident Evil there isn't like one puzzle that's solved with like glue or like tape or something. Like you just tape down a thing that keeps like opening goofily.
duct
like,
tape would
you
have been a
always
good
have-
item to have.
Yeah, exactly. You always have to get these like cast iron like rods and pulleys and shit to stop that from happening. It's like, no, just
Well, to be
sometimes
fair,
the first answer is the easiest answer.
Raccoon City might have like originally been like built up in like the early 1900s, and like tape really wasn't a thing back then.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is that tape
So-
kind of obsoletes a lot of stuff. So
Yeah,
like,
but like
the
they're
puzzles
they're
they
trying to
came
keep
up
their
with.
historic charm
Right.
and like
Yeah,
bullshit
I mean-
puzzle nonsense. So they don't allow
Sure.
tape in the city. It's like Singapore, where like Singapore doesn't allow like chewing gum in through customs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't allow duct
Oh.
tape in through the city borders.
I
I didn't
mean,
know that.
a lot of these puzzles where you have to place the, big symbol of a lion in there could probably be solved with a large quantity of Play-Doh that you just kind of shove
Yeah.
in. But
Or it's like mud.
Also
Just
not
put it
allowed
in
through
there.
the borders.
all right.
Did you I would imagine that there is a like do you know like old point and click video games, Fran? Are you
Mhm.
familiar with the concept?
Yeah.
So some of them were pretty good, but some of them people don't like as much because they have like solutions that are just crazy and
Mhm.
convoluted,
Mhm.
and you would have no idea.
How
I
would you
think if
even
we-
know if you didn't press tab
Right.
thousands of
Yeah,
times to see the highlighted
ex-
item?
Exactly. Well, that's yeah. I think if we make a point and click game, one of the solutions of the puzzles will have to be to take a can of soup and throw it at a painting.
Yeah.
And then you have to know all of our background lore to even know that that's a thing that we were going to do. And it's going to make a lot of people angry, but I think it's going to be worth it. And the fact that they're angry about it is what is going to be the message behind it,
I
I
mean,
think. So,
I think the important part is that if we do that, we get out the very first walkthrough for our game before anyone else, and then we have all of the
and they have to
explanation.
watch our dude, that's genius. Like that's exactly what other companies do. They make a problem and then they sell you the solution. We make a stupid video game that's way too hard, and then we sell them the solution. They have to subscribe to get it. Oh, we didn't do any sort of spookiness for the intro unless you think that climate change is spooky, which I do, but no. We're doing more lore of horror, and we're back to Resident Evil. How could that be? We've gone through 6 whole Resident Evils. There couldn't possibly
wait,
be
no.
enough
And
Resident
there was a
Evil
reunion
left.
in the
7.
6th one.
There
Oh
was-
yeah,
there
we went
was
through
a
7 because of
0th
0.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a 0, and there was Revelations I talked about briefly, and there was Chronicles was
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
we did
But
such
yeah.
a good job. We covered
I
so
can't-
many.
Yeah,
I
there's a
can't believe
reunion
how
at
many
the
Resident
end.
Evils.
It must have been
I-
the clip show one.
Yeah.
So like it's got
Yeah,
we're done, yeah?
I can't believe it. No, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, if you love Resident Evil as much as I do, obviously talking about it for consecutive 10 hours.
God, I
No.
wish we were done.
Could have just played the games.
No, we have more to discuss. We will be moving on from Raccoon City.
And we're gonna find out what
And,
happened to Joe
and-
Valentine, right? And Carlos.
and West Africa. I couldn't fucking honestly tell you what happened to those two people. They should have been in 6, right?
Right, right.
I did.
Especially
I
as
saw
a pairing. It's all pairs, right? So Jill
didn't-
with Carlos would have been dope.
I didn't even see a reference to them
Ridiculous.
in all of my research of Resident Evil 6. I was just, I don't know, man. But
I don't
no,
know.
We are going to, instead of trying to figure out what happened to Jill, that's boring. Carlos, I'm sure he's out fucking literally everybody. No.
Mostly probably
Uh,
Jill.
We are going to need a new character, a strong character who actually is very milquetoast and has no personality because
Oh,
it's
this-
you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a self-insert.
Yeah, it's some sort of player character. No, I meant it's you, Ethan. It's
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's Ethan. Ethan, you're in Resident
Yeah.
Evil?
Yeah.
Our new hero in order to tackle Resident Evil 7 and 8 is none other than Ethan. It is Ethan Winters. We are not even going to talk about a virus today, Fran, because viruses are so 2010s and before, okay? This is Resident Evil 7, which also came out in the 2010s, but later in the 2010s.
Oh, so
s-
okay, question. Because since Resident Evil 6 was just chaos and who knows what happened.
I think it made sense, but sure.
How long, one, what was the reception to that game? And two, how long between Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 7 was there like a gap? Because I remember, wasn't there like that PlayStation demo or something? Or am I thinking Silent Hills?
That's Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because I thought there was like
The
a demo
Res-
for Resident Evil 7 too or something. with the
Resident
swamp.
Evil 6
Oh, there
was
was.
not well received. It practically sunk the series. There was one game in between 6 and 7 that was this like episodic, I think it was handheld only at first.
On like the
and-
PSP Vita or something.
Yeah, like Revelations 2 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um
I use the old characters again. Yeah, the Revelations series were all the like background stories. That's where I got all the little like snippets of people like finding out little clues and stuff. But no, the Resident Evil 6 came out in 2012, and then it took them 5 years to come out with another game after that, which
with
was Resident Evil 7.
with no character relation to the first ones, because Ethan Winters isn't like
originally-
I've always been around kind of guy. Ethan Winters is
No,
just a
not
brand new
really.
person.
Although it does happen in the same universe, and that's true. They don't ever mention. I haven't played the games, but they don't really like mention zombies really at all in the Resident Evil 7. The demo that you're talking about was it was basically just the first part of the game.
Oh, okay.
Where you go in and people thought it was gonna be a ghost game.
Yeah, I remember it's
because
just being
they
really hyped.
Yeah, they thought it
in the
was gonna be
demo.
they thought it was gonna be a haunted house game because they thought there was ghosts in it. And actually in the there's a sequence where you play as the cameraman to a videotape that you find. And
Kinda cool.
I guess there's a small chance that if you look at the right place at the right time, you do actually see a ghost. Where like you have to like look in a window at a certain point during the thing. So it's kind of an Easter egg. Like you're not necessarily supposed to see it, but it got this like creepypasta thing going on where everyone was like, I booted up my version of Resident Evil 7 demo edition version 3.26, and at timestamp 47 seconds into the cameraman sequence, you can see there's a ghostly visage that appears in the mirror in the bathroom. I don't know if anyone else can verify if this is correct, but I sure am shivering in fear.
the copy pasta thing does not work as well when it's in a horror game.
Guys, I was playing Resident Evil and there was a really scary thing. It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
It happens. It's
I booted
okay.
up my version of Sonic.exe and it was like Sonic, but something strange was happening.
He went so fast.
He was scary, and then he had his photorealistic eyes.
Oh.
No.
You think you're thinking of the movie before they swapped it up.
I would love some if you've got any creepypastas about the Sonic the Hedgehog, but specifically the movie one, please send them to me at Spices with.
But the original movie one,
Right,
not
the original movie.
I
Re-release,
booted up my favorite copy of Sonic Adventures, but it wasn't Sonic from Sonic Adventures, it was Sonic from the movie, but before they changed it.
one.
That's the title of the creepypasta. All right. Well, let's start in with Ethan Winters then, okay?
Okay, what's up?
We
All
have
right, Ethan,
made it
tell
to
us.
we've made
What'd
it
you
to
do?
Resident Evil 7 and we have a hard reboot on the series. We are not going to do any more goofy fucking punching boulder things. We're not going to have all these complicated storylines. It's going to be real straightforward.
When were we punching
Ethan-
boulders?
That was in 5, Fran. We talked about that. Chris
What?
punches boulders.
Oh, that's
Fran.
That's right. I'm
Fran,
sorry.
you gotta
When
pay
when you're talking
attention.
about punching boulders, I immediately thought of the JoJo episode of where he was punching the rock
Fuck yeah.
underneath the
Hell
frog. And the frog was
Now,
fine. That's what I
we've
was
done
thinking
enough-
of. I didn't think it
We've
was Resident
done
Evil.
enough episodes where Fran is officially confusing the lore between things, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted her to think that literally everything is JoJo.
Everything's a JoJo reference.
That's
right?
why we did it so early. Ethan Winters gets a mysterious message from his girlfriend, his wife actually.
Oh,
But she has been missing for quite some time. She travels for work, and she hasn't come back home. And he has gotten really worried about her, and he sends her a message that's like, "Hey, baby, I'm thinking about you. Don't worry about me."
hey, are you cheating on me? It's okay if
just-
you are. I'm super
just
beta, but
Like everyone says that they're traveling for work when they're actually going to like a fuck island or whatever.
I thought it was
cool
just their
people go
second
to.
family.
Yeah, or that. Which I mean, a female with a second family, that's empowering. So I support that. That sounds exhausting though.
Mhm.
But then he gets a second message from her, where she is in a scary place, and she's going, "Ethan, it's so bad here. I need your help, please." And then it cuts out, and somehow from this message, he is able to deduce that she's in Louisiana.
Oh, this is the one that's
so-
in the bayou.
This
Right?
one's in the bayou, friend. Down there in the bayou. Down there going to bayou. You going there, they say the spooky town. I say they go by.
To
Yeah,
anyone
we'll go
from
by.
Louisiana, I apologize for CJ's impression.
To anyone
Is
from
it-
Louisiana, hello. We're your neighbors to the north, in a way. We're not neighbors technically, but we're down the road. Thanks for listening.
it's
I
not
like
a-
your state. I like your state. I want to go there, but I
It's-
am poor.
it's
Sorry.
not a Louisiana accent. It's that one guy from The Water Boy who
Yeah. Why do? No, it's called Creole, I think, Fran, and it is. I just did it perfectly. I know how to speak it.
Okay.
But they're going down there to the bayou because he has a tip on where his wife was last known to be headed. And so he, being a good and loving husband, drops everything he's doing and goes to find Mia. That is the name of his wife, Mia Winters. Ethan goes down to the bayou and finds a spooky mansion, some sort of residence of evil, perhaps. We're back to our roots a little bit, Fran. They wanted to just do a spooky mansion with a bunch of goofy contraptions inside of it, and a guy going through there for some reason who isn't a secret agent with the police trying to take down an international pharmaceutical organization.
Just trying to find his wife. He's a wise guy.
He's just a boy trying to get a nut. So move
So-
that butt.
his wife
Question.
is actually trying to double cross an organization so that she can make buco dinero.
That doesn't sound right, Frank. Or
So,
Ethan. Anyway.
hey. Question.
S-
So,
really.
is this series still called Biohazard in Japan? Or did they switch to the Resident Evil naming? Because
That's a good
the
question.
pun of it is a residence that has evil in it works with the American release, and I can see that. But this is made by a Japanese company, right?
Now, well, see, the joke still works because all of Louisiana is a biohazard.
No, Fran, you are concerned that there is not going to be any.
I need a good pun
biohazards. Well, so
that works in multiple languages.
if you really want to know, I didn't really talk about this, but every Resident Evil, or it's called in Japan a biohazard. When they say biohazard, they are referring to the BOWs, the bioorganic weapons,
Oh,
as the biohazards. So
okay.
it is kind of a pun because a biohazard is usually like a dangerous thing like poison or whatever or
Mhm.
toxic waste.
Mhm.
But these are biohazards. They're hazardous things that are biological. They're
Okay.
bioweapons. So that's the
So
pun there.
for this particular game, Biohazard 7, they are referring to the fact that the Louisiana swamps are a biohazard.
Fran, I think as always, you're trying to get too far ahead of yourself and you're getting too baited by Ethan's funny repertoire. All right. All you need to know is that this young Winters couple wants to be reunited, and they are now in a spooky house in Louisiana. Also,
Okay.
it's not really important that's in Louisiana, but actually it is.
I kind of want to
Okay,
know what
wait
the
a second.
Japanese dub, like the Japanese voice acting of this game sounds
There you
like.
go, don't
Do
buy
they
you, go
try
goodbye.
like a southern accent for the
I
people
don't think so.
or
I don't know.
anything?
It's really funny too because everyone was going into this game wanting to be super critical of it, right? Because it came off the back of Resident Evil 6 and they're like, it's going to be shit. Resident Evil's bad now. And I have seen people point out that like the lip sync is bad.
Mm,
And I'm like, yeah, it was in Japanese originally. My friend,
yeah.
my brother in Christ. But all right. So, how long is it gonna take for Ethan to find Mia, do you think, Fran? He's got a whole video game to do it.
So he shows up in the swamp. There's a big house
Mhm.
in it, right? I
Yeah, so
imagine
he
she's probably like within one of the inner rooms. So it'll take
she's
about
he
an
he
hour and a
finds
half of gameplay, probably.
like a car with her like ID and stuff outside.
Okay,
So
yeah.
he knows
She's like
that
in
she's
there.
there.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
probably about an hour of gameplay, I'd say.
it's like 20 minutes. You just sort of pop in and you're like, Mia, I've been looking for you. And she's like, no, you should not have come, Ethan. And he's like,
Oh,
you told me to
but you
come.
told me. Yeah, what?
You idiot. You fucking fool. And she's like, no, get out of here, Ethan. You don't know what you're doing. And then
I
she
clearly
turns
don't
in.
because you don't communicate with me. Our
Yeah.
relationship is in danger.
Yeah, the rest of the game.
Miscommunication really is the root of all problems. In
Yeah, the rest of the
relationships.
game is just this married couple like arguing and trying to work their way through, and there's a good ending and a bad ending. The bad ending is divorce. The good ending
Mm.
is divorce, but a healthy divorce.
Oh.
Oh. Uh no, the Ethan goes into the house and finds Mia pretty quick, and she's acting very strange.
Mhm.
And as they are talking with each other and she's like, get out of here, she becomes very witch-like.
Oh.
And she's like, oh, Ethan, I am absolutely going to fuck you up, man. And then Ethan's like, what? No, don't do that. And she's like, but I'm gonna. And so she comes at him and is attacking him with like knives, and there's a
Oh.
chainsaw at one point.
What?
And
Oh.
she's
That's
like,
a
Ethan,
hardcore domestic dispute.
she's like, Ethan, do you think you could give me a hand? And then she cuts off his hand.
Oh.
And so for the rest of the game, you don't have a left hand. It's just a stump.
Hmm.
It's also very funny because this game does not have plant healing. I mean, it does. But the thing that you make with your plants is it's like a liquid, little bottle of like antiseptic stuff.
Mm.
And so she cuts off your hand, and then you just sort of dump some juice on it, and it's like, all right, I guess you won't bleed to death
You won't
now.
bleed to death. You'll
Cauterized.
be fine.
Uh,
Is this another of the game mechanics as storytelling where they're like, how can we justify not having a gun and the flashlight out at the same time? They're like, I don't know.
Give
What if
one
we just take away one
hand.
of his hands?
Don't you two worry about it. Well, after fighting with Mia, Ethan is tossed around a bunch, loses his hand. He tries to escape, but is unsuccessful, and he gets knocked out. And then he wakes up, and he is at a a dinner table. It's some sort of uh banquet detestable. It is, the classic horror movie thing of like a family sitting around a table to eat dinner, and there's like, shit and guts and
Ew.
blood and like dead rats and all the stuff over it. And he's like, he's with a family now. There is an older gentleman, an older woman. There is a a boy, not like a small boy, but like an adult son,
Adult
and
boy.
there is a very old woman, a wheelchair bound granny, and the father's there, and he does speak like a Louisiana. He's like, "Well, boy, you gonna eat with the family if you gonna be part of the family." And then he wants you to eat all this gross like piss and shit and stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's classic Creole cooking right here.
yeah,
Oh, no.
no, Creole cooking is very delicious, but the implication being that if he eats all of this garbage, then he becomes part of their gross family. And I mean, they're a family, but they're all fucked up and stuff, right? Like they all have a sort of almost zombie-like appearance, but they're
Oh,
not zombies. They're talking and interacting
okay.
and doing all that stuff.
So they're Los Placas.
Could be Los Plagas.
I don't know. I don't know. But of course, Ethan, who looks down and see that he has a new hand.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's attached to his wrist by some like Frankenstein, like big sutures, big staples kinda.
Yeah.
And now he's wearing like a monitor, I guess, like a Fitbit on his
Okay.
hand.
Okay.
But he's got a new hand, so don't worry about that. He's got two hands again.
That's
And
nice of them.
so all of this weird stuff apparently happened while he was unconscious. But he does escape the dinner table and runs away, and then the big pop says, "Now, boy, you better get back here and eat with the family."
How do you
And then
escape a dinner table? Does he just leave? Or
He makes a
Ethan's
polite
like,
excuse that he's able to just kind of get up and a ways away.
Ethan, yeah, he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And they're like, oh, but of course, Southern hospitality dictates that we must be hospitable. No, that is not the case. I think Ethan's stronger now. Either that or he was really pulling his punches when he was fighting against his wife. I don't
probably
think he
didn't
was
want to
fighting his
hurt his
hardest.
wife. Yeah.
Well, he did accidentally shoot. I guess I didn't mention this. While they were fighting, he accidentally shot her, kinda. I mean, he was defending himself, but
Yeah.
he shot her in the head.
Oh.
And then she did the fake out die thing where she falls over and then she gets back up and she's like, yeah, you break my heart. And then he pulls out his heart or whatever. No, not that. But
Oh.
the same sort of thing with the dad, as we'll see, because after you escape the dinner, he chases you around and you like set him on fire and you shoot him a bunch, and
This ain't dying.
he does the general thing with Nemesis where you just keep killing him and then he just doesn't dying.
Every
Mhm.
time you think that he's died, he comes back and his accent is just a little thicker.
He is he definitely gets the shit kicked out of him a bunch. And there are some deaths that are like you burn him to ash. Like he disintegrates. You
Yeah.
Wesker him, as it were. But the dad is one of the reoccurring enemies that just keep on coming back, no matter how many times you kill him. So this is not going well for Ethan. He is stuck inside of this house, and all of these crazy people that he can't seem to kill want to indoctrinate him, I guess, or make them part of their weird, perverse family.
Uh-huh.
And it's all very challenging. Sometimes marriage is challenging. Sometimes you go to try and save your wife from a Bayou family, and it just turns into a whole fucking, that's your whole evening. But the family consists of Jack the dad, Marguerite is the mama, Lucas, who's the adult son, and the old lady whose name we do not know. She's just the old granny. Let's see. So after Ethan escapes from Jack the first time, he gets a call on the telephone in the house. He answers the telephone, and it is a mysterious woman's voice. She says that she wants to help Ethan escape and get Mia out if he really wants to. But if he's going to do that, they got to work together, of course. He needs to work with this person that he's never seen before. And he's like, well, I don't have a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
She eventually reveals herself to be Zoe Baker. They're all the Bakers. This is the Baker family.
Oh. Okay.
And she says that she's Zoe Baker, making her another member of the Baker family, specifically the daughter Baker.
I've been so like shell shocked from Resident Evil 6. I was just waiting for you to say like, and
Is
she
Ada
reveals
Wong?
herself to be Ada Wong.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say a lot of people thought it was gonna be like Jill Valentine or something, like before they beat the game. They're like, oh, a mysterious woman's voice who knows a little too much about the situation. It's got to be like Jill or Claire or someone.
Nope.
It's just Zoe Baker, the daughter Baker. She is as she goes on. She kind of calls you throughout the video game. She refers to the Baker family as being molded. And
gross.
and she says that Mia has also been molded and brought into the family. And if Ethan wants to help her, he needs to listen to what she has to say so that he can remove her from the family, because apparently there's a bit of a process to it. And so she's gonna help walk him through
mold. Like, so now
Like-
instead of like a parasite or a virus, we've got mold.
that. Do we
Infecting
now have?
people.
Do we now have a new thing, Fran? Is it
Ugh.
mold?
It's gross.
Yeah, the whole house is all gross, kind of. I
Dilapidated.
mean, it's the bayou, so
Decrepit.
it's really moist, right?
Yeah, that's where mold grows in moist
Yeah, exactly.
places.
Moist.
Ugh.
But yeah, I don't know. I would think that the wife is too far gone when she's at the shot in the head and gets back up phase.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, she was cognizant enough to like call him at one point, somewhat recently. So
it's true. She's like fighting back. There's this sort of internal battle, it would seem, with the mold. But we will continue to go forward. So Ethan is now going through the spooky mansion, Resident Evil style. You know how it is, and
how big is this mansion? Is it like?
It's very big.
Is it like a plantation house kind of thing, or
no? It's
or just a large house.
It's like I mean, there's no like unifying theme. It's a ranch style house, but it has a lot of extensions like that most houses don't have.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's a stellarium and a greenhouse, you know?
So it's a house that the people living there just kept doing additions to. And
I think we're
just gonna get this new room. And
Yeah,
it does probably
seem like
not
that.
up to code, you know.
Well, definitely not anymore. And I mean, it was in the bayou, so it's not like it was a plantation house, right?
Okay.
It's literally built in a swamp. Like, it
Okay.
is not.
So this isn't like a nice mansion. It's like just a large house.
It's
with
large.
many
It
rooms.
could have been nice at one point, but it is definitely all busted up now.
Okay.
All moldy and
Gross.
evil, Resident Evil.
Evil residents, yeah.
Indeed. So Ethan's going through the house, progressing, trying to get the ingredients necessary to cure the mold, which are conveniently all in the house somewhere.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
nice.
that's good.
Oh,
He doesn't feel
and
anyway.
just as a little throwback for you guys, I don't know all the ingredients, but I do know that one of the ingredients is the mummified arm of a different person who was molded. So you do grind up mummy and eat it in this game. So
Oh, nice.
Imperialism making its
so
comeback.
that is good.
So that's like an important part of the process is having arms chopped off.
I mean, I get maybe it's like a narrative choice to be like, you could be this guy, maybe, or maybe you put his arm on you like a Frankenstein and see. I don't know, man. It's just it didn't have to be the arm. They just need a sample of a person who got molded, like a specific mold that
Okay,
was
sure.
inside of one of the people, and then he finds that person, but they're all dead and molded, so it's basically just a mold mummy, and you just pull their arm off, grind
Ooh.
it up,
Ugh.
eat it.
Ew.
All right.
Num.
Ugh.
Delicious.
So you have run-ins with all of the different Baker's family. Marguerite has control over like flies. She has like
Ew.
she has like fly powers where
Ew.
they all come out of her like a big nest.
I don't think I'm watching you play this game. I'm just gonna.
No,
It's-
But if
Oh,
you
well,
want
this is
to,
not-
go to twitch.tv/cooking with spices and
there you go, Fran. Now we're branding. Yes, yes, I'm invigorated by the brand deals.
so you can watch CJ play this game sometime, but this sounds a little too disturbing for my taste.
Lucas, who is an epic gamer, you never actually like fight him. He makes like a saw room for you to like escape from. He likes little tricks and puzzles. So you have to fight him indirectly, and
His
then
dad
of course,
is so disappointed in him.
yeah, exactly. And then of course there is Jack, who, like I said, you are killing several times in several different arenas, and he just keeps coming back more and more crazed every single time. You fight all the members of the Baker family, and then you finally have all of the ingredients necessary to make a cure for the mold. But through the course of events, you only have enough to make one cure for the mold. But there are two ladies. Both Mia and Zoe desire the mold cure.
Well, you're Zoe
and
then. If she's
Zoe's
is the call coming from inside the house?
Yeah, you meet up with Zoe in the flesh. And then there's the video game moment when the two ladies are standing next to you, both looking at you, and you just have one vaccine vial betwixt them, and you have to choose which of the two ladies you're going to cure.
You give it to your wife, right?
You can choose not to. She did try to kill you.
That
and
wasn't
Zoe
her
never
fault.
And
Zoe never
she
tried
was
to kill you.
Probably not on a business trip that long. She was probably out there cheating on you. So I mean,
With the mold.
I
with
don't
the mold.
I don't know why they give you a choice in this game. It's very strange, and there is a canonical choice because Resident Evil 8 happens. But it doesn't matter. You can choose to cure Zoe and leave your wife in the lurch if you want to, but that is not the ending that we are going to do because that is not the
does
the
this have multiple
canonical ending.
endings?
Yeah, but depending on who you cure.
Okay.
But you cure Mia of her mold, and now the two of you can bounce. The only thing keeping you there was the fact that she was molded, and now she's got that antifungal inside of her, so she is good to go. But before she's good to go, we need to have a flashback. Why is Mia here? How did she get molded?
Yeah.
What is going on with this place? Well,
All good questions.
There's a secret shadow organization, and it's called the Connections. It's different from the other ones.
It's a different shadow organization.
It's not the family. It's not Umbrella.
Okay.
It's not
Umbrella's
Neo
never
Umbrella.
A shadow organization.
Okay.
It's not the shadowy organization that Ada Wong works for, maybe.
So it's not Tricell.
As far as it's not Tricell, it's just called the Connections.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So it
New
could
shadow
still
organization.
be the shadowy organization that has no name.
It is I mean, it's a shadow. It could be. It's a shadowy organization that wants to make the next generation of bioweapons. So I don't know. There's a lot. The Connections.
The Connections.
It's not a.
That all right. I'm gonna say right now that it isn't that old shadowy organization that has no name, because that's such a like 21st century millennial title for a company.
Yeah.
we're the connections. We're just trying to bring people together and kill them with bioweapons.
Nothing brings
The
people
true-
together like a molded family.
The true connections are the ones that we engineer biologically to make you follow our orders.
When you're here, your family.
Yeah.
Turns out Olive Garden's the front.
Oh,
Well, at the very least, at least when they make bioweapons, they also make substances called necrotoxin, which I guess exists to defeat each of the bioweapons they make. So
Okay, so they make the antidote. Technically.
I guess.
They
They
yeah.
did it for the other ones too.
All right. Well, we need to.
Okay, new shadow
Uh,
organization, the connections.
yeah, we need to-
so his
we
wife
need to
works for
get-
them.
We need to get a little weird now. This one hasn't been super weird, and it needs to get stupid. So, Mia does in fact work for the Connections, a
For
shadowy
fuck's sake.
organization which is creating bioweapons. Specifically, they are working on a bioweapon that could be used to control the minds of the victims that they are under the influence of.
I thought they figured this out with Las
Yeah.
Plagas and the dominant Plagas already. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
but
guys.
that
this was
was
like a
the
decade
pr-
ago.
That was the previous generation of bioweapons, and
Oh.
those kept getting blown up by Chris Redfield or Leon or whomever. So this is the next generation, and it's made of mold. Grimy mold gets up in your brain, makes you think things that you don't think you'd ever think in all your days.
but you think
Okay.
them now because you think
But
different.
you think them now because you're thinking mold. But Mia's working for this. She said that she was on a babysitting job when she sent him the message being like, don't worry about me. I'm just off doing my babysitting. It's all going great. And then, but her cover-up career is working at a quote trading company. That's her like cover story is
And she
works at a
babysits on the side.
quote I guess Fran, she's got the hustle grind set, but actually guess what, she's a researcher for the Connections working in bioorganic weaponry research, specifically the mind control mold. Can we all agree to that? Can we
Yeah.
together
I
come and
don't-
accept this?
She's
I
just
still-
yeah.
I still
The
just I need to
babysitter cover
know.
is just
Again, like as an Ethan, I have a personal investment in this. Why'd she have to lie to her hubby about that? Why can't
About
you just?
The
Honey-
secret
honey,
mind control research?
I'd still love you if you were a researcher. Like, and your
Yeah, she
job
could've just
sounds
said she's a
very boring.
researcher.
I'm not going to ask you more about it. You don't need-
Bioweapon.
You don't need to
Most-
tell me that you
most-
babysit. You can just say you're a researcher. It's okay.
yeah.
Well,
I
she
think
works
that's-
for a top. She works for a
Is-
top secret
Is it
shadow
is it
organization.
because
so.
is it because you were worried I would feel threatened if you made more money than me? Because it's okay. It's
Also-
really it's the modern era.
I mean,
Also
she
that.
apparently makes enough that Ethan Winters can be a stay-at-home husband. So,
I'm sure he has a job. It just never comes up.
what job is gonna let anybody leave on such short notice for days at a time without like?
He went on he took sabbatical to go find his
Who can
lost
just take
wife.
a sabbatical?
I mean,
What
if
job?
I like to think if you have a good boss and you come to your boss and you say, "So listen,
Yeah.
my wife told me that she was off on a babysitting trip and she's not actually there and
She
she's
called
been
me
gone
saying
for
she's in
months now."
danger.
Yeah, I'd be like, say no more, Ethan. Go find your cheating on you wife so you can
Go find your clearly cheating on you wife.
yeah.
Take some
I-
time
I-
off, process
I'm on
it, go to therapy, hit the gym, delete Facebook.
I'm on,
Well, you're
I'm
up.
on Ethan's side with this. All right. So Mia works for the Connections as a researcher for the next generation of bioorganic weaponry that's
Of
going
course
to do
she does.
mind control. So this corporation is not, they have like no good reason to do this.
They don't
other
have a mission
than
statement?
They are evil. Like this is an evil organization, which
Oh.
because the weapon that they create is manifested in a young girl named Evelyn, who they
Mm.
specifically created as a young girl so that she would be disarming and people would
Oh.
accept them accept her into their homes and such, and then she could start doing mind control on them. And they were like, no one's gonna think that a little girl is a weapon, so let's make that into a weapon.
Okay.
And they do that. They make
Mm.
Evelyn. Evelyn is a little girl that they created by injecting a baby with the mold. And they did some other science stuff to make her age faster, so she went from being a baby to being a little girl. And this was all part of Mia's work, I guess. And so they're like, Mia, we need to transport Evelyn from the research facility to elsewhere, I guess.
Okay.
We want you to go. We want you to go with them and make sure that she gets there. And I guess Mia said she was doing babysitting because she was watching this kid. I don't know why she needed to put like a weird half truth in there to make it make sense, but
She wanted to be
honey,
caught.
I never lied to you, honey.
I was
babysitting.
a child technically. And yeah, she has the ability to infect other people with the mold and then can exert mind control over people who have been infected. So that's kind of neat.
Okay.
But she is taking her over the sea, over the Great Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, back to Europe. And while this is happening, a powerful storm hits their boat. And what do powerful storms do? That's right. Sweeps up boats into the Gulf of Mexico, specifically up onto the Louisiana coast.
No.
Yes, it does.
If they're
It does
traveling
actually,
from
friend.
America to Europe, why in the world are they anywhere near?
They were swept
Such a
off course
big
by a
storm.
storm.
from the
Swept off course
Atlantic
by a storm.
Ocean into the Gulf of Mexico.
It all connects.
No.
Fran. Louisiana.
That's
is
not how
there.
currents work.
They went around the Horn of Florida into Louisiana, and they are swept
Also, why didn't they just
into-
take a plane?
boats are technically safer.
Well, I guess we're seeing
Yeah,
now that
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that's
it's,
not quite the case.
But in the chaos, Evelyn decides to do a murder on everyone in the boat. But she has grown quite fond of Mia and sees her as something of a mother figure.
Mhm.
And so she, instead of killing her, she just molds her a little bit and then
Just a little bit.
exerts her mind control on her so that she kind of becomes her mom, protective mother figure.
Okay.
And that is how Mia initially got molded.
Mm.
Well, the two of them, as I said, have been washed up to the Louisiana shore, obviously. See, it was important that they were at the bayou because it's, near the ocean,
Okay.
And then they come across a nice, charming little family, the Baker family, and their lovely little home. And of course, seeing a young woman and her daughter in distress, invite them in and take care of them and do everything they can to bring them back to health. But while they're doing this, Evelyn, who is a child who was kind of robbed of her childhood and never really had a family, is driven by this desire to kind of create a family, like a pseudo family.
Her
And
found
so
family.
she's assimilating the Bakers into her family by infecting them with the mold and exerting her mind powers over them in order to make her little play family.
To be fair, that is Evelyn's only known ways to make connections with others because of
It's true.
her traumatic upbringing. So
It's also a magic power she has.
yeah.
Yeah, so does that mean that at the dinner the Bakers were all eating shit and guts just because Evelyn thought it would be funny, so she made them do that?
Well, presumably they can't go out and get food because she doesn't want them to leave, and they don't actually need to eat. They're sustained by the mold.
Yeah, so that's
So
so they were like,
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, giggling to herself.
Yeah. No, it's like when little kids make like Play-Doh food and they want you to eat it, and like you're supposed to like pretend to eat it, but kids don't know that you're pretending. So if they were mind controlling you, if you were at a tea party with a little girl and she was mind controlling you and she just had like mud, like it was like
mud
"Look, it's
cakes. Yeah.
Look, it's pie. Have some pie.
Some
Ethan." And you're
chocolate
just like
pie.
nom nom nom. Very good. Thank you for this. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
What else is happening while this? Well, remember that little throwaway line I said that when they created Evelyn, they made a small child and they put it in a baby, but they needed it to be a little girl, so they aged her up really quick.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that's just a process that keeps going because she is
Oh, it's just
still aging
accelerated.
very rapidly.
Oh.
And do you remember the one character we haven't talked about yet that I brought up earlier?
The old lady?
You lied.
It's I threw a little trick in there. The old granny. It
Yep.
was Evelyn the whole time. She's an old lady now. She was there pulling the strings the whole time, looking at you silently. She so you do see her in the mansion every once in a while when you're running around, and she's just like sitting there limply, not moving. She doesn't like attack you or anything, but her head will follow you as you move
Ugh.
through the mansion. So you
Ugh.
can like see her like looking at you the whole time.
That is
Um,
unpleasant.
Evelyn actually made Mia call for Ethan because she
Mm.
desired a father figure to go along with Mia's mother figure, and so she wanted him to come so that they could she could make them into more mold,
Okay.
which was her plan the whole time. But now she is an old lady and she is controlling everyone with the mold, and every time, so it's we're going to get more mold lore, but the mold seems to be able to bring people back to life even if you kill them completely. Like
Okay. So
Jack was completely destroyed several times and he keeps coming back and has all the memories that he had from the last fight.
isn't
and
that isn't there some kind of ant in the world
Yeah, the
that
mind
like gets,
control
Yeah, the
ants,
mind control,
yeah.
like they get infected with something and then the ants just kind of like go on about their business based
There's
on
Yeah.
the will.
There's that thing that Paris and Parasect are based off of. The big mold inside
Yeah.
of the little crabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, mold's crazy.
Well, it's wild.
Parasites are
Mold be
crazy. I mean, there's that one where it goes in the ants and then it like makes ants climb up things. The ants are just like, man, I love climbing. I would love to get to like the highest place I could possibly get to. And then it goes up there and then the mold bursts out of its head and then it goes everywhere and wants it to go higher up because it like has a better
disperse
chance
better.
of spreading.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Nature's crazy.
Nature's wild.
all these Resident Evil games, they're just kind of like have a National Geographic in front of them. They're having a great time reading it, and that's where they come.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of this Ebola thing? Like,
Dude,
yeah.
Could you imagine if there was a zombie disease in it? That'd be crazy. Ebola is named after a river, Fran. There's the Ebola River. Do you want to go to the Ebola River?
Probably not.
Yeah,
That
that's why
sounds
they
a
don't
little
name
scary.
diseases after places anymore. 'Cause it's really mean. I'm sure it's a fine river. It's just where they thought Ebola came from, which it didn't.
Insert
Whatever.
commentary about China virus.
So remember how I said that the connections were good boys and made neurotoxins in order to
Sure.
destroy all the things they made? Well,
Good boys, yeah, good boys.
Ethan is wanting to
Do that?
kill
Yeah.
Evelyn. Yeah, he
Yeah.
does not want Evelyn to be alive anymore.
Is this after he cures Mia
I mean,
or before? Like, is the
Uh,
curing Mia part like the very end of the story?
Yeah, so when you cure Mia, that's when you get all this backstory to how
Okay.
she got there in the first
Yeah.
place.
Ah,
And then
alright.
and then when she's cured and she's not, because that's the thing. She was like, it's not 100% mind control. It's sort of the like battle of wills mind control with the
Sure.
mold. So she was trying to get you to leave because she knew that Evelyn wanted to assimilate you.
yeah.
But now that she's cured, she can come clean about the whole thing. She doesn't have
Mhm.
to fight the mental oppression of this old lady little girl.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
and that's when she's like, there's a neurotoxin we can use to kill Evelyn,
Right.
which
So
will free everyone from the mold.
Okay.
so Ethan has realized that lies can ruin a relationship, but just having a kid does not make it all better.
Mhm.
Not in this case, and so he's gonna abort her
Important lessons.
with toxin. And Evelyn's kind of freaking out. She's mutating as they always do. She's kind of absorbing the house and becoming a huge mold person.
Ew.
And so things are not going great. They are unable to get the toxin together before Mia starts going fucking wild, or Evelyn starts going fucking wild. So we need some sort of Deus ex machina in order to get us out of this impossible situation. And what's that? There in
railgun?
the sky.
Ada Wong!
In a helicopter. Oh my God, Ethan, you're so close. No, it's none other than Blue Umbrella. Of course, being led by Chris Redfield, coming down to
What?
save the day.
Blue
That's right.
umbrella?
Chris is here, and he's like,
What?
you two look like you could use a big-ass gun to blow up a giant mold girl. And they're like, yeah, Chris, yay! And so he does it, which
Oh my
allows
God.
you the opening you need to inject Mia with the neurotoxin that
Evelyn.
kills her. Evelyn, with the neurotoxin that kills her.
Why is it Blue Umbrella?
Is he
It is
Mary
blue-
Poppins or some shit? Like coming in?
It's Blue Umbrella because oh, it's so good. It's a
Why?
private military corporation,
Of
and
course.
they chose that because it's the opposite of the red-hued
No.
regular umbrella.
No.
It's like
That's not how the color wheel works.
it's like
All
if
right.
it's like if Antifa named themselves the Blue Nazis.
All right. Do you remember?
No.
Do you remember when I said that Chris Redfield was working for the BSAA?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
also when I said that Umbrella had a private military organization.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, when Umbrella was destroyed and dispersed, they still had a private military organization. And
Okay.
some of the people in there did not like the fact that they were working for Umbrella. Like once it came to light, what Umbrella was doing, because you remember, like Carlos worked for Umbrella. He didn't know that they were evil. He thought he was on the good guys team. So there were people in this private military group that was like, oh, we got tricked into being the bad guys. I hate that. So they decided that they wanted to take the private military that they had and flip it to now fight against bioweapon monsters and research. And they needed someone with experience taking down Umbrella in order to help lead them. So who better than Chris Redfield, the man himself, decides to come down and retire from the BSAA, and now they're working with Blue Umbrella, and they are against everything that old Umbrella was against.
Oh, God.
Blue
can tell 'cause
Umbrella
their
works
color
for
has
justice.
changed.
The color's the opposite. The opposite of red is blue.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
they are against Umbrella. All right.
I think it's worth noting here that this game is very scary. And
This is a very spooky game.
This
we
is a
maybe
scary
haven't
game.
we maybe haven't sold you on it, but this one was very scary and it did a good job of frightening people. And they maybe they maybe dropped the ball in the last couple minutes there with the whole what if we did a color scheming based on your alignment. But
All right. Well, Chris showed up with Blue Umbrella. He helps Mia and Ethan defeat Evelyn.
With the big
And
gun.
with the big gun, the big mold exploding gun, and it's happily ever after. He takes them away in his helicopter, and he says, "I, Chris Redfield, will help you, Ethan, become more epic than ever before."
Hey,
Dot
hey,
dot
Ethan.
dot.
This helicopter, this is actually the same one I shot a rocket at Wesker out of. Yeah, you
I
like
kept-
that reference?
I kept it. We wrestled in it, and I couldn't bring myself to get rid of it.
So I'm gonna circle back to the question of what the fuck was Ethan's job before? Because, like, why would he
Dude.
be recruited by Chris Redfield for this nonsense if he was
now
a
he's
stay-at-home
gone through-
husband? I would just be a
now
stay-at-home husband at that point. Fuck this.
Now
Like-
he's gone through. He went through this trial, this ordeal, and he came out. He
And
survived.
do you want to do
He's-
more of these? Like, come
well,
on.
he's gotta have the chutzpah, you know. He's you know, you can't teach that kind of raw survivableness.
There is this weird kind of rule that goes throughout a lot of horror-based stories that, like, once you've fought horror once, like, you're a horror fighter now.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it
people-
again.
You're one of the chosen.
People like experience, so if you survived it, then I don't know, you've got more. That's what they're
It's
like.
better
Leon,
than most
you
of the
are
people
a-
in these situations, obviously.
Leon,
I feel like
you're
that's
a
just
police
survivor
officer
bias at this point,
for
but
1 day. Do you want to be a secret agent because you survived being like having zombies attack you? He's like, yeah. So Ethan and Mia are great. Everything's great.
Chris is here.
They went through. Chris is there. He's holding the two of them like babies in his huge, beautiful arms. They are going to settle down a little bit after all this. It got a little hectic, a little crazy. And so we are going to move now towards Resident Evil 8. The final of the games of the Resident Evil series so far. But a short little aside about how some of the stuff shook out at the end of the last game. So the reason Chris was there is because
Biohazard.
Lucas was, one of the sons that never really showed up. He also wanted out of the family the same way that Zoe did. And so he contacted the connections to come get him out of there, basically. Send someone to help me. It's fucked up.
It's bad.
How did he know about the shadow organization if the family just took in the people? Because they washed up on shore.
I don't know, because they figured it out. He seems like an epic gamer.
While the two
Okay.
of them were recovering in bed, as Mia was just saying in her sleep, she said, "The connections and their phone number is 712."
Anyway, he was leaking information to the connections about what Evelyn was doing and all that other stuff. And Chris, who works for Blue Umbrella, was like, "You need to stop that shit, little man." So he came to come fuck up Lucas. And then he didn't even know that Ethan was there doing all this other stuff.
Oh.
And so he was just doing other Blue Umbrella things, and Ethan happened to be there. And that is how they made this initial connection, was because Chris was trying to cut the connection that Lucas had to the connections in order to further the Blue Umbrella cause of destroying all bioweapons with the conventional weapons usually. So
Okay.
so there is a little epilogue where Chris goes and like fucks up Lucas, pretty much. You can play as Chris.
And just
in
go
the
fuck up the kid.
and just
Got
go
it.
fuck up and fuck up. He's an adult child. We said that already.
Okay.
But but that is why Chris and Ethan meet and are on good working terms now. And Chris is like, you need to retire to a nice little house in Europe. And also, I'm going to teach you how to be a cool secret agent in 2 years. The old Leon S. Kennedy treatment, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the interim of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, Chris teaches Ethan how to be an epic action hero, and they have a baby to fix their relationship because
Chris and
it got
Ethan's
a little-
relationship?
yeah, Chris and Ethan have a baby. No, Ethan and Mia have a baby because
Oh, what did I just say?
they do. Yeah, you literally did. But now they're like, things are better now. Ethan's an action hero. Mia is not in this spooky mansion anymore. It's
And the connections
all-
just let her leave. I'm sure that's
it's
what happened.
all good. Well, they probably thought that she was dead. I mean, I
Oh,
guess
from the
they
mold.
wouldn't have thought that because, Lucas was there feeding them information. But then
I mean-
Chris kicks his ass before he can feed them too much information. So I don't know.
They're-
Let's call it square.
They're under the
Okay.
protection of Blue Umbrella now, and nobody fucks with Blue Umbrella.
Apparently.
I did think that it was gonna end up being that Blue Umbrella was
Umbrella
evil.
all along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of
Weird,
is, but
right?
Well, all right. So we start off Resident Evil 8, and we get a cool little cutscene that's like that one part in Harry Potter where they're talking about the Deathly Hollows. It's like a storybook kind of thing.
Yeah, cute.
Well, we are given that treatment, but this time it is about a mystical village in Europe.
Okay.
And in this village, there's a little girl, and she's traveling through the woods as little girls do in fairy tales, and she comes
Mhm.
across these 4 different creatures. And she's like, I'm scared and alone. And the creatures are like, here, take this thing from me, and it
Okay.
will help you on your journey.
Yep.
But then when she gets to the last creature, she takes the thing instead of being given it to it. And then all the 4 creatures turn on her and like devour her.
Classic
so,
fairy tale. Classic
I
fairy
mean,
tale.
yeah, it is.
Teaching good manners.
Exactly.
or
such.
death.
And Ethan is like, Mia, that's kind of a hardcore story to tell a little baby. And she's like, nah, it's cool. So they are taking care of their baby, and they've got a very
Relationship
nice home.
definitely fixed.
Yeah,
Yep,
it
on the
seems to
same
be
page for values, for sure, of how to raise their daughter.
You don't have to be perfect. It's just gotta work, okay? We're just kids having kids out there. Well, they sit down for some borscht or whatever the fuck. Mia's making like a stew, and then you hear a bunch of noise outside, and your entire house gets completely shot up, just like through the wall, just like
I remember watching
And-
this when you played
and
it.
Mia
At
is just
Cooking with Spices.
That's true. We play all sorts of games there, not just horror games. But Mia does just get absolutely filled with bullets. But Ethan, using his action hero time, like gets under a table or something and doesn't get shot full of bullets.
Mhm.
So Mia is dead. She's been pelted with bullets. And then a
Second.
bunch of agents run upstairs and grab the baby, who is known as a Rosemary Winters.
Okay.
And then Ethan
Baby
is
napping?
like, yeah, the baby was asleep. I mean, there was a lot of gunfire, so maybe not anymore. But Ethan is like, how dare you? I'm a cool action hero. I'll kill you. And he gets up. And who is at the door that's been blown open with explosive? It's none other than Chris Redfield. And he
Oh.
takes the baby, and he's like, sorry, Ethan, this is for your own good. And then
Couldn't have explained why.
and then the agents tie up Ethan and put him into a truck and then ship him off.
Chris, you know me. You know I have problems with people close to me not telling me the truth.
I feel that maybe Chris and Ethan should have had a baby to help repair their relationship. Obviously,
Not physically
due to,
possible. I mean, they could have adopted
their
I guess.
miscommunication issues, because I feel like Chris probably could have just taken the time to explain to Ethan like why they just murdered his wife and kidnapped his baby.
There's no time, Fran. We
There's
need
just
to
no
keep.
They just threw him in a truck. Chris, hang
No.
out in the dark truck with a blindfolded Ethan, and they'll have a great time.
No. I think it's worth noting, like I said before, Resident Evil 7 was a scary game, like, no matter how it came off when we were describing it.
Yeah.
And they actually got feedback that the game was a
It's
little
too scary.
too scary.
Yeah, people thought it was too scary.
And
It was
so,
closer to like Silent Hill scary, and
It's
people were
too
like, "Oh, it's too
spooky."
much."
yeah.
So they made it more
So-
actiony.
Yeah, this one is we're getting back a little bit of that action game
This one-
stuff to it.
This one definitely feels a lot more like Resident Evil 4.
Okay, so they
Yeah,
kind of
this
like
one-
dialed the meter back because like
Yep.
original games were like in the middle,
Right.
and then it
They-
got
yeah, they-
real actiony. And
Yeah,
then
they went
people were
all
like,
the
"Oh
way to
shit!"
Resident Evil 6. They were like, that's too far, but then they
And it
went too far
real
in the
here.
scary
And we're like,
direction.
"No."
So now
Oh.
we're trying to find, you'll have scary things, but you also will slap a large woman's ass with a fly
Oh.
swatter.
Oh. Is that action?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Well, the car that Ethan is getting transported in, it's like a paddy wagon, does do a crash, and Ethan
Oh,
comes
of
out.
course.
Ethan falls out of it and survives, but during the crash, I guess he hits his head really hard and does a remember. He is receiving a phone call from the doctor who's like, "Hey Ethan, this is the doctor. I would like to talk to you about your daughter's medical charts now that we've studied them. So, just give us a call back because we really want to talk to you about your daughter. She is very strange."
Oh,
Well, he remembers this while he's surviving a car crash.
okay.
And
Is it called
now
the
he's
doctor?
in. Now he is in. No, I mean he's in the middle of the forest. He crashed his
okay.
car. But he's in the middle of a forest and he needs to survive. But he's relying on all of the survival instincts he has as a cool special agent now. And so he is able to make his way through the woods and find a small village, a Resident Evil village. That's the name of the game. It's not actually called Resident Evil 8. It's called Resident Evil Village, but the 8 is in Roman numerals inside of the village.
It's V-I-I-I?
That's right,
V-I,
Fran.
lowercase
The
L,
L,
lowercase L.
V-I.
L's.
VI and then the vertical parts of the two L's is actually how it's.
Does he have a freaking left hand still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It grew
It's
back.
Still just,
or
it's just
they
there.
reattached it or whatever.
yeah, but like, is it still
He- it's
Frankenstein attached, or is it just
no,
like
no,
normal
now it's
attached
just
now?
now it's just
That's
regular
just normal hand. Okay.
He just has a good hand.
Okay.
I think he still uses the Fitbit though because that serves as like your health meter.
Mm.
It, like
Again,
shows you
very
how
scary.
healthy you are. It's pretty scary. But yes, he gets to the village, and this village is not filled with zombies or parasites because that would be boring. We've done that before.
Mhm.
This European village is filled with werewolves, or as they're later to be revealed as, lichens, which I don't know why that's.
Lycanthropes or whatever.
Well, yeah, they just call them lichens, but yes, like a lycanthrope, which is a werewolf.
Okay, which is a werewolf. Yeah.
That is the thing you said.
Yeah, so they are called lichens in this game. And this village is chock full of them. Well, it looks like it's tough cookies for Ethan. Well, he escapes. It's been weird. He keeps kind of escaping, and maybe when he shouldn't, but he fights his way through the lichens, and then when it looks like they're gonna kill him, they all like retreat.
Yeah.
And that's all very strange. Well, Ethan does a little investigative research in this village. He finds some people who are not lichens, but who are very scared of them, as they probably
Fair.
would be.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is a
Slightly
woman
terrifying.
who is in charge of the village. She runs almost a sort of cult, if you will. And
more
it-
cults.
in this village, it is run by Mother Miranda,
Oh.
and she wants
Matriarchy.
yeah, she wants a baby. and has decided that Ethan's baby is a good baby to have. And so it turns out that she was the one who orchestrated the crash that allowed her to steal Ethan's baby. Which also released.
The baby was in
which-
the same truck as Ethan?
I think they were in different trucks, but it was like a caravan situation. So
Oh.
she
So
had
Chris
them all
should be nearby
crash.
too, right?
You would think, but he is not. But he
Okay.
He
realized
only goes by helicopter anyway.
Only goes by helicopter.
that's true. He realizes that Mother Miranda wants his baby and now has her. And so he needs to get his baby back. This is a story about Ethan trying to retrieve his baby. But the village has a lot going on. There's a lot of dynamics. As I said, Mother Miranda is there. The village is also founded by 4 founding houses. There is the House Demiscu, the one with the big mommy vampire. That is the vampire one. There is the Beneviento house, which has Donna Beneviento, who is a puppeteer, creepy dolls kind of thing. There is Salvatore Moreau, who is a fish man. He's a man who is also a fish.
Okay.
And there's Carl Heisenberg, who seems to have the ability to control metal, like Magneto.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's
a cool
pretty
house.
He's pretty epic.
Okay.
That we don't do the scary stuff. We do cool metal tricks.
Yeah, he like throws saws at you, but they're just like the saw blades, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
Anyway, he gets caught. Of course, and the 4 houses are like, what are we gonna do with him? And they're like, Heisenberg, you caught him, you get him. And so he throws him into like a hole with a bunch of like saw traps, but like literal saw traps this time, not like the movie Saw.
Okay.
And Ethan uses his cool secret agent abilities to get out. And all of this is just a big way to get him to the big castle that is on top of the village hill, because this game takes place in this big castle now, and this castle is controlled by the Dimitrescu house. Dimitrescu.
Just say like Demescro or something. It's just.
And she is a vampire mommy, and she has a lot of hot vampire ladies, normal size ladies as well. There are a bunch of sexy girl vampires in this mansion, and it kind of rules, actually. So
this is how they made the game less spooky. They made it more sexy.
Hell yeah, spooky and sexy. Fear boners are the most. That's the highest honor I can give to a thing.
I'm so lost. Like,
how are you lost? You're in a castle. There's 4 houses. And there's sexy vampires.
Have the vampires? They've always been vampires. They've just always been there.
What? Like, there's werewolves and vampires and a guy who can control metal. Ethan, it's spooky
and
it's
a fish
scary
man. And a fish man.
And a fish man. Why do you have to analyze everything?
I'm just so unrelated to all of the bioweapon zombie stuff that has been going on. There has been like a dark cult of vampires like throughout human history.
Vampires, puppeteers, fishmen, and Magneto metal bending people.
And lycanthropes.
And lichens, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've accepted
I don't know. Fran's
So,
here. Fran's usually the one who's like, wait. Now you are gonna be like.
So Chris Redfield made Blue Umbrella, which is umbrella but good, so they're a different color. And his objective was to destroy zombies who are bioweapons created by corporations. But then unbeknownst to him, he's basically got in the horror monster fighting business, which he thought was a human creation, but they're like, no, actually, there are the regular kind of monsters, what from movies and such, and you do now also need to fight those.
To be
You are
fair,
not-
Chris is not involved. It's just Ethan.
You are, well, he is involved. He was there and he tried to take a baby.
No, but he isn't fighting like vampire. He doesn't know about the vampires and stuff yet. Obviously, he's not here fighting them.
I mean, presumably
so-
he does, and that's why he went to get the baby.
You guys
But-
are not ready for what this game is going to do.
He's not actively fighting them, so he's obviously not concerned about like trying to kill the vampires, right? He's not turning into Van Helsing or anything.
You guys are
so-
walking all over my reveal of the best character of this game, who is
Chris
the
Redfield?
Duke.
Oh.
No, the Duke, Fran. He goes, ho, I'm a portly man in a cart. What can I sell to you, you little scamp, you?
I like
Uh,
that.
The Duke is there. He is your what are you selling, what are you buying character.
Uh-huh.
What does he belong to one of the four houses, or is he just
He
kind of
doesn't-
there?
He belongs to the Shopkeep Guild.
He does not seem to be involved with the four houses. In
kinda
fact,
there.
he's trying to help you along. He's selling you items. He's telling you things. I mean, he's providing exposition, like the fact that your baby is in the castle, he says. So you must go get the baby. Go get Rosemary's baby. And you say, oh, cool. Thank you, the Duke. I
Mhm.
found some coins on some of the lichens. Would you like to trade that for like a silencer on my pistol? And he's like, yes, of course. Yes, I love
That's
this.
exactly what I want.
But he goes through the castle, and as you would expect, you get kidnapped by the vampire. You get like trapped like 1,000 times in this fucking
Mhm.
game, and then escape every time.
Don't the
uh,
vampire
uh,
women want to consume him?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, damn.
But they do the thing where they put like hooks through his hands
Ugh,
and then like
yeah.
hang him up,
Ew.
and then he escapes by just like tearing his hands off of the thing because he's Ethan, and that's just how he escapes from things, is just by cutting his hands off and then like putting a little goo on it so that it will heal up, kind of thing.
That's
He's
fine.
Ethan. He's Ethan.
I don't relate to that part of being Ethan.
You
Well, you
don't just
haven't
put
found
goo
the
on
right-
your hands.
Yeah, you haven't found the right like
You
liquid
gotta,
you just
try
dump on your
different
hand.
goo.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So
Don't stop using the
they-
white stuff.
Ethan goes through the mansion and he kills all the vampires. He fucking blows them up with guns and stuff. The lady Demistru turns into like a dragon, she morphs into a big dragon, and then
An
you have to
actual
kill.
dragon?
Is this a sick Dracula reference?
It's
Does Dracula turn into a dragon?
His name is Dracula. It means
Doesn't-
dragon.
That doesn't mean he turns into a dragon.
Okay.
No, but
well,
that's why
Turns
it's a
into
reference.
bats.
It's a reference.
Oh.
Fran.
well,
Oh.
it's more like a horror monster, like a Cronenberg monster with a big toothy mouth. That's kind of where her fenouter would be if her fenouter was on a dragon.
That doesn't
Oh.
sound like a dragon.
Well,
I'll
she's got
say.
wings and she's flying
How
around.
Okay.
how hot is this?
I'd do it. In any case, he kills all of the vampires. Great job.
Good. For
Um,
sure. For realsies, right? Like for sure he's dead.
For sure.
For sure he's
Yeah.
dead. Never coming
she-
back.
No, she's dead.
Oh, okay.
But they after he kills the vampire ladies, he gets a flask, and he looks inside of this flask, as one does when they receive a flask, and it seems as though this flask contains the head of his child.
Oh,
Rosemary's head, in fact. And he goes,
that's not good.
oh shit. So they cut his baby up, and he found the head portion. Fear
Ew.
not, says the Duke. I'm here again to give more exposition.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
Duke.
Ethan,
What do you?
Ethan, don't you see? You must go to each of the four houses, for they each have a flask containing a piece of your baby.
Oh God.
Get all four flasks from the four house leaders, and you can reassemble your baby and have your baby back.
No.
Baby
What?
back, baby back.
Okay,
No,
so
no,
here's
not
my
the
guess.
time, Duke. Not the
It
time.
goes head, torso, arms, and legs. Is that the 4 parts?
Probably. I didn't actually look
Okay.
them up. It just said that they split her up into 4 pieces.
Ew, gross. Ah.
So, you've got the head. Ba, 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 da.
Yay.
But now you have to go around and get all the other pieces of ya baby. So you do so.
Gross.
You are going around and you're gonna kill these house leaders that we've already introduced. And Chris is here. Yay!
Oh, Chris does show up.
Chris is here. And you're like, Chris, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
right now.
that's a good question.
Well,
Does Chris answer? He goes like,
Chris-
"There's no time."
Chris will explain a little bit.
He really needs to work on his communication skills.
Within the Blue Umbrella organization, there is another smaller group called the Hound Wolf Squad, of which Chris is a part of, obviously.
God fucking damn it.
And these elite rangers they go a little against the book every once in a while, and they do what needs to be done. That's what they are all about, like murdering wives and stealing babies. That's a thing that they have to do sometimes.
All right. So 2 things. One, they're literally part of the secret paramilitary umbrella army.
No, Blue Umbrella.
They're
Blue Umbrella.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's made from the other secret organization army. They're already part of the secret group that does whatever it takes. Like, they have a secret group within the secret group that does whatever it takes.
It sounds like Blue Umbrella had a
And-
little too much bureaucracy and red tape. With all the
Exactly.
puzzles and like
You're
The
right.
secret paramilitary had too much red tape?
Fran gets it. All right.
blue tape.
Well, Chris-
No. Question 2. Still, why did he have to kill why couldn't he just come take the baby?
There was no time to explain. That's actually the
There
reason.
There was no time to not shoot his wife?
You see, Mother Miranda was coming for the baby, and Chris Redfield needed to act. And so he did. He did what Chris Redfield does. He acts, okay? He doesn't sit
Okay.
around calling Ethan ahead of time and being like, hey, we're going to take your baby. No, he says, I got to go now. And he does it, okay? And he didn't want Mother Miranda to get the wiser, which is why it had to be a sneak attack, even though it didn't matter because she did find them anyway.
Uh-huh. And
All
why
right.
did he have to shoot Ethan's wife?
I don't know. He didn't like her. She's kind of a bitch. I don't know what to tell you.
She worked for the connections.
She
I
did
guess.
try to kill. Yeah, she worked for the connection. She tried to kill Ethan that one time.
All right, sure. Yeah, she's getting, like, Chris no longer has this very important relationship with Wesker, and he's just kind of looking for something new.
He
I'm
says,
just gonna point
listen to me.
out-
He goes, listen to me, Ethan. I'm gonna be Chris. You're gonna be Ethan. I know, like hard role
Okay.
play, right? Okay. Listen to me, Ethan.
Yeah.
Mother Miranda is doing mold research here. You remember
Okay.
mold research? You saw some.
Yeah, I did.
So I came here because don't you see Mia? She was a mold person. Remember when she had mold in her?
Yeah, but you fixed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she still had some mold in her. Don't you understand? And your baby, it's got all sorts of mold stuff about her.
Ew.
And Mother Miranda wants that mold baby. And I had to stop her. I had to stop her from getting the mold baby.
Why didn't you bring this up in the 2 years of training in brotherly combat to become super guys?
Because
together?
I didn't want you to get distracted. Women and babies, they're distracting from training.
I made a baby with her. That's
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me. You didn't tell me before.
I
got
thought you would know,
distracted.
Ethan. She was a mold person. I thought you knew.
This has been beautiful to watch.
You
I'll say.
came to the baby shower. It was
Yeah, and I brought you antifungals and mothballs. I thought you got the hint.
I did think that was weird. All right.
Chris is with Mia, who is like, you never shot and killed me. What are you talking about? Because as Chris reveals, he says, Mia, you don't understand. I know that you were imprisoned by Miranda because actually Miranda made a mold clone of Mia
Oh
and
my
then
God.
used the mold clone to inhabit
Oh my god.
Ethan's house in order to steal the baby. without Ethan being any of the wiser. But I, Chris Redfield, figured this out long ago. So I went to your house and I killed the Mia clone that was made from Miranda mold. And I took your baby before Miranda could take your baby. And I made sure that Ethan was protected and that I didn't shoot him. I only shot the Miranda mold.
I feel so foolish for ever doubting Chris Redfield.
You
Miranda
absolutely
made a
should.
full version of me.
And all of the monsters here, all the vampires and werewolves and bullshit, that's all mold. It's all part of the Miranda mold.
Wait, the
And then-
lichens are also mold?
Yeah.
Yes, it's mold, Fran.
They're just lame so they don't get a house to themselves, but they're
Well,
mold.
specifically, the lichens are, I guess, what happens when you inject babies with mold and they don't turn into house leaders.
They turn
Sometimes
into
they just
werewolves.
turn into mindless werewolves.
Okay. But not zombies.
Nope, just werewolves.
Okay.
There are no zombies here, Fran.
Okay.
We're in mold country.
Okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
And so Ethan was none the wiser to this Miranda plot, but Chris knew and didn't have time to explain because if he explained, Miranda was already there. She was in the house, so he had to kill her
As mold.
as a mold clone of Mia.
Okay.
Every time you describe Chris Redfield's thought process, I feel like we're in like a group therapy and he's really close to understanding himself but just refuses to. It's, well, I didn't want to explain my feelings because there was no time to explain. It was
Alright.
just, I couldn't.
Gotta do a baby reconstructing ritual, obviously.
We're doing alchemy?
Kinda. You're doing mold alchemy. It's all science, Fran, but it is mold-based
Uh-huh.
science. And
Okay.
mold-based science, as all scientists know, is a little bit different than normal conventional science.
Sure.
So you get all your baby parts back, and the person who tells you about all of this baby combining ritual stuff is Heisenberg, who's the
Oh.
last boss that you fight.
The metal guy.
And he's actually kind of like, I want you to put this baby back together. This baby back.
Oh.
No. At the time,
and so
Heisenberg
so
still-
here's your last baby parts, the like, I don't know, the innards maybe, or the feet,
how
feet
kind
and
of
hands.
Heisenberg question mark?
and tells him to go do this ritual.
Okay.
Why does Heisenberg want to do that? I thought
Maybe
he
he
was on
just
Mother
really
Miranda.
wasn't about it.
Well,
I mean, he's one of the four houses, but that doesn't mean he's like enthusiastically going along with everything.
what are the four houses, Fran? Well, you see,
Vampires, puppets, fishmen, and magnetos.
everything is science, Fran. Nothing here is mystical bullshit. It's all just mold science. And you see, Mother
With the
Miranda.
rituals?
Mother Miranda is a mold researcher. Specifically, she wants to make bioweapons with mold. And so she, researching her mold research, needed children to do experiments on because she wanted to inject them with mold and give them superpowers that were
Mhm.
entirely mold-based, not vampire-based or whatever. So she invented the four house leaders, which were children that she stole, and she just sort of kept injecting children with mold until they got superpowers and didn't die. Because, usually they die.
Uh-huh.
And so all of the house leaders were once regular children, but they got molded and became spooky fishmen and vampires. And in Heisenberg's case, I guess he got metal bending. And he resents her for that for some reason, getting superpowers. And
Okay.
is like, I want you to get revenge on Mother Miranda because she stole me as a child from my family, from the village, no less.
I think that's maybe
And-
what he's more upset about.
and
So-
and did research on me, and I will give you the part of your baby. And she's afraid of Rose, your baby, and that's why she tore him apart into many pieces. Because
I
if
see.
if your baby were to challenge her, your baby would win. Because your
Oh,
baby is a
what?
mold baby, and she has mold powers, and her mold beats Rose's mold. I guess it beats Miranda's mold, and so she doesn't like that.
Okay.
She split up your baby.
Is this like
That's
a prophecy situation?
Of all of these things, that's the thing I'm most on board with. because her mold does come from the 5th house, the mind control mold house, which seems
You're,
like the best mold house.
you're getting it, Ethan. This baby is a special baby.
So
that
we're
was
assuming
made-
all this mold is the same mold.
Well, because of how mold works, Fran, it reproduces, right? It spreads
Yeah.
itself. And this, the mold that Rose has inside of her is based off of the Evelyn mold, the mind
Yeah.
control mold that made its way to Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
And so this mold is different from the mold that's here in Europe. And so Mother Miranda is afraid that Rose's mold will defeat her.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
So, you reassemble your baby, and immediately Mother Miranda comes back and is like, you brought the baby back together and you killed all my 4 house leaders except Heisenberg, but he's a traitor now, so fuck him, he's dead to me. I'm gonna take your baby and I'm gonna do a murder on you. See ya, Ethan. And she does that. Chris is revealing all of this to Mia, who he is breaking out. She has been captured and has been stored in a part of the castle that you have not explored yet.
Conveniently,
yeah. And as he's explaining all the things that he had to do to save Ethan and try and save their baby, Mia's like, "You don't understand, Chris Redfield. It is not my mold powers that Miranda wants. It's Ethan's mold powers. Don't you see? Do you guys remember at the beginning of the last game when you
How
were
he's
looking
got his
for your
hand
wife?
cut off?
And he got his hand cut off and then he became unconscious for a while?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, you see, it would seem that Ethan perished during that encounter with his wife, who was mind controlled to kill him and then infect him with mold.
Uh-huh.
But the mold has a funny way of bringing people back to life, usually when
God.
they die.
So Ethan's been dead the whole time.
Ethan died at the beginning of the last game, but he became a powerful mold person who used his powerful mold seed to impregnate his powerful mold wife with a powerful mold baby.
Oh, so the baby has like regenerative, because like he just keeps being okay.
Ethan rips his hands off of hooks to free himself and gets impaled, and he's fine every time. He's a mold person, Fran. He's regenerating.
The baby not only has mind control mold powers, but also
it's got
regenerative
Ethan
mold powers.
That's right, Fran.
That is a dangerous baby, isn't it?
Mia was impregnated by one big mold man and created a beautiful mold child that had powers that could rival that of Mother Miranda. Powers that she thought were coming from Mia, but were actually coming from Ethan. So she thought she killed him, but she did not. Ethan survived as a mold person. Well, Chris is like, oh, so Ethan is alive and my boy needs me. So he gives him a tank. In this part of the game, you get a tank.
No.
Yes. He uses the tank to kill Heisenberg. I don't know why I put that in the notes, but he does that. So,
but I thought Heisenberg was like down for the sickness here.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't. He's still a monster. Whatever. He does that antagonistic thing where he's like, well, you're my enemy, but Miranda's also my enemy. So, I thought that you were dead, but you're a mold person. That's pretty scary to me. It doesn't matter. All of the house leaders are dead and only Mother Miranda remains.
Okay.
So Evelyn, the little experiment that overtook the people, the Bayou people.
Yeah.
Mia's
research.
Right. Well, her research was incomplete. It was not yet successful at what it was trying to do. It was a in progress mold, and it needed more work. Apparently, what it needed was to take over the body of a boy, and then to have that boy fuck a girl, and then make a mold baby, because
that's how science works.
Because Rosemary is the completed form of Evelyn, a natural, organic being that has become completely entwined with the mold. And this is something that, Miranda knows all of this. She's a mold researcher. She can tell that
Mhm.
this Rosemary baby is truly the completed version of the mold research. But who started the mold research? We flash back even further to Miranda, a younger Miranda.
Oh my God.
She's a scientist
Of course she is.
who's working on mold research, and she has a daughter called Eveline, and her daughter tragically dies to the Spanish flu. Not weird mold stuff, just regular human disease. And she wanted desperately to get her daughter back or to cure her daughter. So frantically, she did all this research to try and bring her daughter back, because there is a legend in the part of Europe where she is, a legend of a black god that could bring people back to life, even with all of their thoughts and memories completely intact.
Hmm.
Well, the black god turns out
Mold.
to be a big mass of black mold
Ew.
that existed underground.
Ew.
And the mold had the ability to assimilate people. And when it assimilates you, it gains all of your memories, and it gains all of your knowledges and your physical form. And then you become part of the mold. And then the mold can reassemble you using mold. And if you die, the mold can reform your physical form and can bring you back to life. The research that Miranda was doing was to try and basically remake her daughter,
Mhm.
Eveline. And so she makes a new daughter called Evelyn,
Mm.
who is made of mold.
Mhm.
And then this mold is experimented on and grows up into the young girl, Evelyn, which is brought over to America. And all of that Resident Evil 7 stuff happened. And she made a new mold colony in the bayou underneath the Baker house. And then that mold evolved in that form and
Mhm.
inhabited Ethan.
Mhm.
And now Ethan is infected with that mold. So that
Okay.
mold went through many steps to get to Ethan.
Okay.
And then eventually Rosemary.
And so, because they had a baby, mold is genetic apparently, and now the baby has mold inside of it, which
Mhm.
explains why they can cut it into 4 parts and then
Mhm.
recover the 4 parts and put it back together. Is that the
That's right.
That's the
That's right,
reasoning
Fran.
here? Okay.
Yep.
Great. Mhm.
But he is part of the mold. He's a mold
Okay.
man.
Okay.
And he never cured himself, unlike
Mhm.
unlike Mia, who did
Mhm.
get the cure. So Mia's not a mold person anymore. It's just Ethan. And
Mhm.
now Rosemary.
Okay. It's a little
Also,
confusing.
this is a Resident Evil game.
Uh-huh.
So
So Ada Wong shows up. We haven't seen her in so long.
when Ethan is learning more about Miranda by fusing with the mold,
Yeah.
he sees her original, like, when she's doing all this research. And there's a man there who's like, you could use this kind of research to make a cool new world order. And she's like,
No.
Who is it?
she's like, Spencer, I only care
Spencer!
about bringing my daughter back. I don't care about new world orders. And he's like, well, thanks for teaching me all about mind control and stuff like that using mold, but I think this could be a lot more successful if we used West African viruses. Anyway, I'm going to rip off your logo and use that for the Umbrella Corporation logo, because the Four Houses logo looks very similar to the Umbrella logo, which Ethan notices at one point, and he's like, is this Umbrella Corporation? So there's a fake out for a while that the Umbrella Corporation is doing this again. But actually, Spencer just ripped off their logo to make the Umbrella Corporation logo because Miranda's the one who taught him to use natural stuff to do mind control and to make monsters and such.
Classic white man using the work of women.
Isn't that cool?
I guess it really is just a small world, you know?
I
And
mean,
it's
how
like-
big is the bioweapon world? You know, like
So
I think it's Earth-sized, if I understand correctly.
So
But, you know, it's you got just this cult is over here doing mold stuff, and then a 3-hour drive west of here, there's a different
doing
cult
parasite
that-
stuff.
doing
that's doing
parasites,
parasites.
mind control stuff. Yep. Then you got the flower down in Africa. You know?
Yeah. You take a little boat ride south. There's the flower thing, and then in
Then you got
America, of
Ebola.
course, we've corporatized it, and it's
Alright.
Ebola.
So Ethan's an idiot, and he does not
Yeah,
realize
I
he's
feel like it right now.
Ethan's an idiot and doesn't realize he's a mold person, but when his consciousness fuses back with the Black God, he talks to Evelyn, the person who gave him mold, who's
Okay.
telling him all this stuff. She's like, "Yo, you've got mold powers, and so does Rosemary, and I exist in her kinda, but in the perfect cool way."
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go save my baby then." And the Duke, coming in clutch, is able to reform him from the black mold. He's a mysterious character. I don't know how he does it. Don't ask me how he does it. He just knows things about the mold. Whatever. The Duke is
Shopkeepers always have special powers.
the Duke is the one who pulls you back out of the mold, but your body is failing. You are a 100% mold man. And
Oh, okay. helps.
You've regenerated too many times and you cannot hold your physical form, but you now know about the Black God and its effect on people and the fact that it contains the consciousness of everyone that is connected to and kind of has a consciousness of its own now, like a hive mind thing going on and all of that stuff. So you're just going to try and save Rose as a mold person now. So Miranda is trying to absorb Rose because
Ew.
she's a mold person too, and the mold wants Rose inside of it so it can assimilate her.
Okay.
But Ethan is able to stop it. And during this, Chris shows up again. Hey,
Yay. Hey,
Chris, I'm back. Chris,
With
I'm
Mia?
a mold. Chris, yeah, Mia's there too. Chris, I'm a mold person. I'm made of mold. And he's like, yeah, Mia told me about that. So
Oh my god, she's still keeping secrets from me.
he's like, there's mold everywhere, man. And he's like, listen, Chris, I saw a big black like nucleus of mold. That is where the mold comes from. And he's like, I do have like a thermonuclear bomb we could use. And he's
There you
like,
go.
yes, Chris, if you blow up the mold, the mold will go away. And he's like, but Ethan,
sure.
he's like, Ethan, you're mold. And he's like, I will not be able to survive, Chris. We must blow up the mold. And then Ethan is fighting Miranda, who turns into Mold Randa, and she's just a big mold monster. And Ethan is the only thing that can stop her because he's also made of mold. And Ethan gives Rose to Chris and Mia and is like, I will go blow up the detonator because something happened and it didn't work remotely like
Sure,
always happens
of
when you have a
course.
nuke, and I
Yeah.
have to go blow up the mold. And
Mhm.
Chris is like, all right, I will take your wife and daughter and put them in the helicopter that I do have at all times, and we will fly away. And then and he goes, all right, then I can do a cool self-destruct and kill Moldranda for real. And he blows up the Black God, and all the castle crumbles in on itself, and the 3 of the survivors fly away, and Rosemary is safe. She has been protected, and she's left with Mia to raise her. And Ethan has nobly sacrificed himself to take down the mold people, the woman who inspired Spencer to do all of his research at the very beginning of all of it.
Hmm.
And that is the end of Resident Evil 8. Or is it? Because we do get a quick epilogue where there's a young woman and she is with a young man and she says, "Why are you guys always up on my dick about stuff?" And they're like, we can't let you run around without supervision. And she's
Oh.
like, that I could kill you if I released even 5% of my power. And he goes, ho, get in the car, girl. We don't have time for your little games. And then he goes into his headset and he's like, stand down. And then all of the snipers that are around them are like, all right, we won't shoot her. And this is young Rosemary Winters. She's grown up into a young woman, but she's got all of these guards around her. And she seems to be the nexus of some sort of group that is experimenting on and with her.
Oh.
And we are most undoubtedly going to be playing as her in some new Resident Evil game eventually. But for now, we have Rosemary Winters. She's all grown up and she's got some mold juice powers inside of her. What they are, only time can tell.
That gave me flashbacks to Resident Evil 6. That was something.
What are you talking about? That's awesome. It's the mold, Ethan. The mold.
My concern is that I understand that they're trying to root it all in science or whatever.
Mhm.
But I fear
mold
that they're
science.
taking the series into just like a super fantastical direction almost.
I like that there's vampires and werewolves in the series.
But they're
though.
not.
I
No,
think
they're
that's
not werewolves.
fun.
They're lichens.
Yeah, exactly. Who gives a shit?
I don't know.
It's mold based, Fran.
Yeah, but like the whole thing is like you're a person playing usually who's just like, ah, fuck, shit's going down.
I can't believe you guys aren't so fucking psyched to have mold powers against tyrant virus monster. Are you kidding me? That's gonna be epic, dude.
I feel like
so
the power
sweet,
scaling.
It's gonna be so like what's stronger? Is it mold or is it virus or is it parasite? What if someone gets all three, Ethan? What's gonna happen then? You don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting
they
for
done
the part
fungus?
where they explain that
Fungus?
actually the mold is something that grows on the flowers from Africa, which is why the flowers from Africa do their thing. But actually, when you put it together
Ethan,
with a parasite and Ebola,
That's smart. That's so smart. That's good. Ethan
What
actually,
other-
Ethan actually works for them. Mold is fungus. Well,
Oh,
Ethan, let's
guess.
we've had a long journey. I'm sure there's some questions you might have, but what are you most excited for of Resident Evil 9, a thing that will most certainly exist one day?
I mean, I'm just excited because I thought I was gonna sound so stupid when I talked about Dead Space next week. But now I just realized contextually, I'm gonna make so much sense. It's gonna be fine.
Fran, would you accept the mold? Would you become
Oh,
one with
God,
the
no.
mold?
no.
What?
ew.
You get to live forever. Whatever.
No, that sounds gross. No.
Fran, you don't understand
I don't.
the mold, but I'll tell you who does understand the mold, our beautiful listeners who have been with us the whole way, and I'm sure we're never lost once. Thank you guys for listening to our spooky Resident Evil series. We have one more episode in our month of spookiness that we're going to bring to you guys, which will not be Resident Evil. It'll be fun, scary even. But for now, we're going to close this one out. We do want to thank you all for watching, and we want to thank Gail Kitsune for all of the channel artwork, and we want to thank Apajo for the songs that will never leave my head. They play constantly in my brain. Hopefully they play constantly in your brains too. Remember to like us, subscribe us, tell all your friends and family, convert them, become one great hive mind that is combined by your love for mold and for us. And while you're doing that, make sure that you follow us at Spices With. Make sure you check out twitch.tv/cookingwithspices for all of our streams, the content. Oh, so much YouTube content. We play video games. We do lots of stuff. We're funny. Tell us we're funny. Please, we're funny. Anyway, I've been CJ.
And I've been Fran.
And
So does a hive mind, does that count as just one view?
no, watch it on multiple devices. But yeah, if you all want to watch it once and then, you all know it collectively, that's fine too.